Okay, guys, welcome back. I am steadily losing hair because the Rift is, if you have long hair, Rift is really good at like plucking it out. Hazards of my job. Wanted to talk a little bit about Hades since somebody had said that that sounded interesting. And I'm doing that Jimmy Stewart stuttering thing again. Anyhow, I don't have like this really long pedigree with him. I'm not gonna pretend I do, but off and on through my life, I had started working with Hades, and then I would stop because everyone would say Hades acts this way, and the Hades I was working with was acting very differently. Everybody, even people that work with him, like, oh, he's mean, he's short-tempered, he's very stern, he's not very loving. And I was like, this isn't like when I'm meeting what I'm calling Hades, this isn't who I'm meeting. I'm meeting someone that's, like gentle and kind, and he doesn't resent his job. He's actually, he's actually happy to be in the underworld and look after the dead and, keeps them safe and everything. And if you think of it, if you go according to the religious tradition, Hades was also called Pluto, and, the giver of wealth, and he was considered a very rich god because, basically everything we have, if you look at it from the Greek or Roman point of view, would come from him because he controlled all the metals of the earth, he controlled all the gems of the earth, he controlled all the, like, food crops. So, like, basically, like, almost everything you have, like food and the clothes on your back and everything, you can thank Hades. And that doesn't sound like a very short-tempered, mean god. And I could never get into working long with him because I couldn't put together this kind, gentle god I was working with this angry, abductee, emo, whatever people were describing him as. And I was working with him some last night, and I'm like, well, at first he was doing the traditional Hades thing, like, I am Hades, and, then it's kind of like he takes a mask off, like he's been, like, playing a role, like, playing up to your assumptions, and he's like, you know me better, that's not actually me. And I'm like, oh my god, it's Loki. And he's like, no, it's not Loki. And he's like, why do I have to be cast as the, perennial bad guy, the perennial short-tempered, dark, unloving god when, he takes care of everyone that dies, depending on your belief system. And he protects the dead and he watches over them. And depending on where you end up, being dead is not bad. It's an internal party. It's like drinks and music and dancing and partying. And he even had cults, not that they were widespread, but he did have cults where people kind of get on the fast track, which influenced the Christian idea of heaven. So there you go. And it's like, well, then why is everybody scared of him? I think everybody's scared of him because, one, the Greeks literally believed, and I'm not making fun, Greeks literally believed, and Romans as well, that he was literally underground, underneath the earth. So you were going to be in eternal darkness somehow. And, imagine that. Imagine being under the ground. They thought it would be terrible. And it's like, no, it's not terrible at all. It's, people fear death, and he's not even death. That's Thanatos' job. And they fear, being separated from people and losing people. So a lot of that went on Hades when he was really gentle. And I kept doing research yesterday, and I was doing research today, and I came across someone else that said he was sweet. Now, this person has much more experience with him, and they've worked with him for over 20 years or something. And it seemed legit, and of course some idiot has to come up while they're sharing their experience with someone else and say, well, I would never work with Hades, but if you want to. And I'm like, where did you get off telling anybody else what god they can and can't work with? I don't care what god you work with. I will tell you that if you're watching certain horror movies, the gods in there probably aren't real, and you might not want to work with those more than that. Go to it. More power to you. It was just, it was interesting because he's a lot, when he's around and you feel his energy and you're kind of like tuned into him. His energy is like really calming and stabilizing, where with, Loki can get you keyed up and excited and animated and like a little too keyed up and a little too nervous. And, if you're constantly with Loki, that's why it's a good idea to work with other gods as well to kind of balance out that energy, because only Loki is good at being Loki. And when Hades is around, it's a stable energy. It's like a stabilizing force. And that's the best way I could describe his energy mainly. I mean, he is loving and kind. He might be more quiet compared to Loki. Anybody's more quiet compared to Loki. And maybe a little more reserved, but he's still very loving, very sweet, and very kind. It's like Lysandra is not super chatty, but she's, she's very sweet and she's very kind. So, sort of that underworld energy where they're the stabilizing, protective presence, and they might not be hyper animated like some other gods, but, they're still gonna love you and they're still gonna take care of you. And, I actually really have enjoyed, like, in the past when I worked with Hades and I work with Noah. He's extremely curious. He's extremely bright. You're not going to get anything past him. I don't know where people think they are, but you're not going to get anything past him. I think the only time he would lose his temper is if you disrespected the dead, or, you tried to cheat the process when it was your proper time, only because you're harming yourself. And usually, when it's our time to go, it's our time to go. It's not done as a cruelty. We all have to go sometime. It's just a fact of life. And it's, you're going on to a place where you'll be taken care of and you'll be loved, depending on where you think you're going, and that's okay. So it's been really interesting, because it seems when Hades is around, I have like better dreams, like they're more calm and stable. And he is kind of similar to Loki in that he'll let you have your own experience and let you put together what you think of it. He's not going to, that traditional Old Testament God, this is what's going to happen to you and this is what you're allowed to think about it. He's going to, let you form your own thoughts and reactions and like kind of gently guide you, but he's not going to force you to take his outlook on it. He's going to see what your outlook is. And he is kind of a teacher like Loki is, only he's a lot more stable, and he's not prone to as many extremes as fast and often as Loki is. I mean, any god can do anything in a sense, but if he started to have like wild varying extremes, I'd be very surprised. Not that I will ever say any god can't do anything, because then they'll go off and they'll do it and they'll prove me wrong. Okay, so I hope you guys like that. It's kind of really hard to describe, because he's really this comforting presence, and it's not like you can always put the experience into words. Sometimes it's just there are no words for what working with him is like, but it's very calming. He's nurturing in his own way. He said I was going to say it like that. But he's very, he is very calm, and he's very loving in his own way, very nurturing in his own way. He's not going to be for everyone, because he isn't going to be the most animated, upbeat hyper personality, but that's fine. You need steady, calm gods as well. They can't all be hyper bouncing off the walls. So yeah, I really have enjoyed having him here. I hope he stays, but you can't like lock a god in place or anything. But yeah, I thought I would share that with you guys, and if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.